Hey everyone, this is Justin Taylor with ROC Title, and you're listening to Anyone Can Be a Rock Star, a ROC University podcast. Listen weekly as we sit down with industry top producers and leaders to discuss the ideas, the opportunities, and the strategies that ultimately led them to success in their business so you can do the same. And today I have the pleasure of talking with two of our very own Rockstar Escrow officers here at ROC Title, Jaclyn Baker from our Scottsdale, Arizona branch, and Jaime Newmeyer from our Green Valley, Las Vegas branch. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, super excited. So before we jump in, can you guys give us just a little history of your background, how you got into the escrow and title industry up to the success you both have had here at ROC Title? Jaclyn, you want to go first?
Sure. I have been doing escrow full-time since about 2000. Before that, I actually started, my mother was an escrow officer. So I actually started when I was 7 years old. She would take me on the weekends when she was super busy. I always thought I was just playing office, but she was having me send out certified lender packages. So it's pretty much been in my blood my whole life. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly through all of our markets. And I have been here at ROC Title for 10 years. So 22 years altogether and 10 years here at ROC Title.
It's a long time.
It is a long time.
Just as a baby.
Yeah.
What about you?
So for me, I started right out of high school. I was 19 and started at a lender's office running the escrow department in there. Switched over about 9 months after that, got into full-blown escrow, and it's been 24 years.
It's a long time. So as you can tell, our escrow officers here have a ton of experience. So we're super excited to have them here today. Let's talk about title and escrow. I've got some questions that I think our agent listeners would love to hear some answers from two top producing EOs. So let's talk about, in our new environment, what are some of the changes you are seeing coming back into, from the shift in the market?
Yeah, so here in Arizona, we are seeing a lot of seller financing coming back. A lot of people being a little bit older in Arizona and also having a lot of equity. They're able to do a lot of that, more of that seller financing, especially with interest rates being as high as they are. So luckily also in Arizona, we have a seller financing addendum that is great for agents to fill out. So it gives us all of the terms. We can prepare that note and deed for them, set them up with a servicing company so that the loan is serviced. We also, if they want to do private loan, also have that same documentation they can fill out so that we can then prepare everything for them. So it makes it really seamless for everyone involved. Seller, of course, can still do their credit check if they'd like to on the buyer, but we can still be involved with preparing all the paperwork.
Love that. Yeah. What about the Vegas market? Is it similar?
It's very similar. We don't really have a servicing department necessarily that we could forward off to. They kind of do all of that themselves between their agent and whoever they can reach out to. But for us, we prepare the documents and have them signed and recorded and go from there. It's the same thing other than the servicing.
Yes, and our servicing is still by a third-party company. We just do all the setup for you guys. So
Right.
just to confirm that. We also do not service it.
Love it. So, Jamie, what is some of the most common delays that we see, like in the closing?
Well, recently, because of COVID, we are now coming into a lot of probate situations. In Nevada, probate is very delayed. So we're talking 90-day minimums.
Oh my gosh.
And that is very important when you're taking a listing to make sure you're checking the title of the home to see if somebody has passed, if they are going to require probate, because then they can get the ball started right away. If you don't do that and we end up being in escrow, it delays the escrow. You could lose your buyer if they don't want to wait the 90 days plus. So it's been a big deal.
Yeah, no, that's huge. What about Arizona? Is there some common?
Still a little bit on probate as well, but our biggest thing is probate is much quicker in Arizona than it is here in Nevada. But our biggest thing is when you're dealing with a probate is not knowing their mortgage information. So one of the biggest things is if you are going to a listing appointment, if you are taking a listing and you know that someone has passed, we always recommend immediately open a listing commitment. That way we can work on getting any loan information, any judgments that may or may not be there. So that way, once we hit the ground on escrow, that's not when the person is then looking for this mortgage information from a line of credit from 2015 that maybe no one even knew they had against the home. So it's always really good to be prepared. So I always say if there is a death, if there is a change in trustee, anything that someone who is on title is not the one signing the paperwork, immediately get a listing commitment from us.
Well, and at the end of the day, a listing prelim or commitment is always the best idea to do because you don't know what's on there.
Yeah.
It's good to be prepared.
Go ahead and
Even
get a
when
head
you
start.
think you know,
Yep.
you don't really know.
or they may have told you something, but then you do that and you're
Mhm.
like, well, this came up, and
Mhm.
then you can at least be ahead of the curve.
Absolutely. And I think
Okay.
that's also great too, especially in this market when we do have cash or investment buyers still coming in.
For sure.
That way you don't find out at escrow and it's like, oh shoot, I have this investor coming in, but now instead of the 7-day closing, it's gonna be 30, 45 days to get this information. So if we can get ahead of it, always the best for everyone involved.
Yeah, and I'm just curious, this wasn't like a part of our topic or anything, but in terms of cash buyers versus finance, are we seeing like a shift and there's more cash right now, or is it still kind of?
It's kind of been in Nevada, sorry,
Yeah.
not speaking for Arizona. In Nevada, there's still a good handful of cash.
Yeah.
You still have people coming from California that are selling their houses and paying cash here. So it ends up being pretty even.
Pretty even.
Yeah, I'd say we're like a 60-40, so
Mhm.
pretty much even. But private lenders are starting to get more popular.
Mhm.
So they'll go under contract as cash, and then all of a sudden we'll get a request from a private
Surprise.
lender, and we're like, oh, okay, sure,
Surprise.
here we are, let's do it. So I would say it's probably 60-40 for Arizona.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Very cool. And, with that token, so what are some things that our clients can do just to ensure that their buyer or seller clients and ensure a smooth transaction or smooth closing?
I think that kind of goes back to the same of like the listing commitments, like absolutely ordering that ahead of time. We even have some buyers agents that'll reach out and ask us like, hey, we're putting an offer in on this property. Can you run a quick search for liens? Because we think someone maybe passed away and we want to be sure. So even from the buy side, we can still do the same thing, a really quick lien search to see what's there. But again, ordering that listing commitment is probably just everyone's safest bet to make sure that there is no surprises once we open title.
Definitely.
Same thing in Nevada.
Yeah.
Yeah. Preparation is key, and then
Yes.
communication too, right? I mean, making sure that if something does come
Always.
up, or there could be just like an inkling of there may or may not be something that comes up on title, like let you guys know right away.
100%. And a lot of times now with everything being electronically signed, we had an instance where it was someone that had passed away, but the son who was signing everything signed it the same name as the dad. So
Oh, no.
we didn't know right off the bat that it was not in fact the owner that was signing, that it was his son. Now, luckily it was fine. He was a trustee of the trust. Everything was okay. But it wasn't until 2 weeks into the actual file that the son disclosed, oh no, that's my dad's house. So luckily there was enough time to get the paperwork done, but the agent never mentioned it to us for us to be able to request that right away. So again, that's something that would have been nice if we could have gotten that right off the bat. So there wasn't a scare that maybe there was a problem.
Well, I feel like that's across the board, though. Any information you do have in the
Absolutely.
very beginning,
For sure.
make sure to let your
Disclose,
escrow officer
disclose,
know.
Disclose. That is the most
Always.
important thing, especially for us as title.
Yes.
Most definitely. So I guess like on a more, what are some most common title issues that you guys see come up, just in general? Because I know that's one thing when I teach like Escrow 101, we always talk about those items that pop up on those searches. What are some common ones that you guys see?
Definitely. I mean, my last name is Baker, so I am one of this crew too. If your last name is Jones, Smith, Baker, anything that is incredibly popular, we're of course going to have you fill out a statement of identity. That way we can rule out any liens or judgments that show in similar names. My name and my initials are the same as my sister, who's 11 years older. So we get each other's hits all the time. Luckily she's married now, but I still show up on her reports and she still shows up on mine. So again, if it goes to, if you have a common name, we're probably going to ask you to fill this out. And it is a lot of your personal information. So sometimes clients want to know, day one of escrow, why do you want my social, my driver's license number, my previous marriages? And it's just because we're of course doing our due diligence to make sure that there are no liens or judgments that are against you that we need to pay off, dismiss, anything through our transaction.
Yeah. So we see people not returning the statement of information, and then we end up running it at the end, and sometimes the child support will pop up, or something because of similar names. Sometimes it belongs to them and sometimes it doesn't, but we have to go through the process to eliminate it.
For sure. So what are some tools that ROC Title has and invested in that makes the experience so much better for our clients?
I think that one of the best tools we have is called Qualia Connect. It is a portal that is accessible by agents, buyers, sellers, and can be used through the transaction to check status, download documents, upload any information so they can give us all of their contact information, their socials, their payoff information. It is a huge, huge tool that we can use. But I also want to make sure to mention it's not a requirement. We do still have plenty of clients that do not want to use that portal. I often think about my mom, who still refers to the internet as the big blue E. Back when Internet Explorer was just that blue E icon on your desktop. So we still, of course, have other options to gain that information. It is just still a great tool if agents, buyers, sellers do choose to use it, but not a requirement.
It's
Yes.
such a great,
It
such a
is.
great tool.
Awesome. It literally saves so much time with buyers and sellers filling out their forms, and it automatically goes into our portal, and it's secure, so that's a good thing.
And
Yes.
speaking of secure, we have Zocum.
Zocum.
Which is-
So Zocum is a great app that we now use to deposit EMD funds. So basically, if you have ever used your cell phone to deposit a check with your bank, it's basically the same thing. So you enter in the file information, buyer seller information, agent information, property address of the house you're purchasing, and take a picture of the front of your check and the back of your check, and it's
And it's
deposited.
really
And I get
super
a
easy.
notification in my email within a minute.
It's
Bank
perfect.
level security, like it's
Yeah,
an
it's
awesome.
awesome.
tool. Yeah, love it.
And that is free to you as buyers to use and as agents. If you guys download the app, it does not cost you anything from our side for you guys to use it. It's included in our fee.
Yes.
Yep. And I think that's something that's super important for us as a company is just continuously investing in tools, processes, and just strategies in general for our clients.
Absolutely.
So that it's a better experience overall, right?
Yes.
For the agents, for the consumers, everyone involved. for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Our ROCSTAR Nation has grown tremendously and we continue to shatter records. And I just truly believe it's our team's dedication to providing an unbelievable experience for our clients, both agents and consumers. Super important for us and just being able to provide that value. Before we close this out, like I'd love to hear from both of you, like why ROC title?
ROC Title is, I've worked at many different companies. ROC Title has become a family to me. I was never a number here. I just feel the love, I feel the support, and we create joy in our offices. It ends up being a good place, fun place to work. So I love it.
I mean, yeah, I absolutely agree. Again, I've been here for 10 years. There is no place there's no other place I would want to be. Not only that, I think one of our things is our marketing, everything that we do at ROC Title is geared specifically to agents. So our marketing, our branding, and it's above what anyone else is doing. So we're like of the new. We're not trying to do the old school, which is still great that some companies are doing it, but we're trying to be that next step. We're never going to be behind. We're always trying to be ahead of the rest of the game. And I think that that's a huge step because Title doesn't tend to do that.
Right.
Title tends to be someone that's like in a back office that you don't see, that you don't interact with. And that's not what ROC Title takes. Like
No,
that's not
I
the
feel like
stance we take.
We're innovating a very stagnant industry
Yes.
with the best of the best.
I mean, yeah, you look at our colors, I mean, lime
I
green.
was just
that's-
gonna say,
that's
our
not a
swag
typical,
speaks for itself.
yeah, it's not a typical real estate or, title company branding. Yeah, like our ROCSTAR shirts. And that's really what sets us apart. I mean, I flew into Vegas today to do this podcast, walking through the airport, and people recognized our shirt and our branding. I don't think they would recognize 98% of other title companies branding out there. So we're definitely huge. We want to stand out and we want to make agents stand out with their marketing too. Your success is our success. So the more you do, the more we do. And we just all want to be a part of your team.
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, again, just continually investing in things that makes it a better experience. And also ROC University, right? So
Yes.
we're very dedicated to training and development for our agents so that they can give their clients the best experience and really bring a ton of value to them. Even things like this podcast, right?
Mhm.
Just trying to, like I said, innovate a very stagnant industry.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any other title company or, to par of what we're doing
I
here.
agree with that.
So which is very, very super exciting. So
I agree.
yeah, thank you guys for.
Thank
both
you.
being
Thank you
here
for
today.
having
I really
us.
appreciate
This is
it.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys can always go to rockuniversity.com/podcast to listen to any previous podcasts or this one. Of course, you can watch this on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/rockuniversity. And as always, we appreciate you in your business. And until next time, we will see you guys in Escrow.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.